I'm so excited to interview Sue Raffan on the Awaken Feminine podcast today. Sue ventured into life coaching in 2014 when the youngest of her three children went into full time school. Since then, she's created a thriving empowerment coaching business working with individuals, schools, and in corporate. 3 years ago, Sue joined an online business community, leveraging automation, high ticket affiliation, and her credible personal brand to make more money in less time and with a far greater impact than ever before. Her mission is to show success driven women how to remove the shackles of patriarchy to be financially independent and empowered from within, purely through personal development. And I know she has so much love and wisdom to share. She's joining me in Perth. So, a fellow Perthie, welcome to the show, Sue.
Yay! Thank you so much for the fabulous intro. Thank you for that.
Thank you for being on the show. I'm just so excited because we met, oh gosh, maybe about 2, 3 months ago. I remember we had a coffee and I was like, you need to come on my podcast. So I'm just really excited for our conversation. But before we dive in, I always love to ask my guests this question, and that is, what is your definition of an awakened feminine?
I think when a woman comes to realize that she is all she's ever needed,
Mm,
that everything external has been taught, and that the power was always within her, and to harness that again unapologetically, to take up space, to have a voice, to be seen, and to know that she matters.
mm. That is such a beautiful, beautiful definition. So powerful and got the tingles going on. So I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your definition of an awakened feminine. Thank you. Now, Sue, we're going to dive in. I would really love for you to share with us a bit more about who you are and why you do what you do.
I'm amazing.
I
And
know.
people laugh thinking I'm joking. I'm not, because I am. But what I love in working with other people is for them to step into their amazing and to own it as well, and to feel no shame in that. Because when we realize that we are our best friend, our greatest supporter, that's when we truly step into our power. So being awesome is being awesome to you. No one else's opinion matters. So yeah, I just love feeling amazing, feeling this zest for life, feeling alive simply because I am who I am, and just owning that. And
Mm,
that doesn't mean I'm better or worse than anybody else. It's that I am the flower in amongst the field, focused on me, but
mm.
surrounded by others focused on them.
It's beautiful. I want to ask you why you've like felt this need or calling to help other women to do the same, to, be that awesome, be that amazing self that we all are.
I think probably it came up for me when I was a mom and when I lost my identity to motherhood. And while I had the first world problem of I had everything, I felt that unfulfilled, and yet never felt validated for feeling miserable because, oh, but you've got the house and the car and the husband and the kids. Yeah, I ticked all the boxes, but there was definitely something missing from within me because I'd lost myself. And it took a while for me to figure out what is that. And I started a life coaching course thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to change the world. And then when I realized coaching, to become a coach, you have to be coached, I was like, oh, hang on a second. I didn't sign up for that. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, I'm the one needing life coaching, because I'm the one that needs to start to do the personal development, and also to realize I am the greatest subject I can ever study. We
Mhm.
are amazing, and we're a never ending journey of discovery. And so that got me started when I then realized, okay, the unfulfillment wasn't about anything external to myself. It was purely within me lacking purpose.
Mm. I love that. And your story is so similar to mine because it was for me as well that losing your identity after motherhood, it's no one ever talks about it. Like you just kind of get to, you get told, oh, you're going to have children and everything's going to be great because that's your life purpose, being a mom. And then you have children and you're like, what the fuck happened? I don't know who I am anymore. I'm not like you're not the same person going back to work and you're not the same person as you were, when you didn't work. So you're just kind of like, who am I? And all these things. And life coaching does change your life, especially when you get coached. So.
But I think also, and maybe we don't realize this, is that when you do birth children, you do move from the maiden to the mother. You actually aren't the same person anymore. We think we are. We think we just have additional little people to look after, but we've actually been reborn ourselves. And it's figuring out, who is this woman? How do I connect with her? Because things aren't as they were.
Yeah.
Because they're not meant to be. It's our growth.
Yeah.
We're launched into this journey of going, wow, who's this woman? What's she capable of? What does she desire? What does she want to do? Because she can do anything. But you have to give you permission.
And I love that because even when we were the maiden, most of us didn't know what we wanted, what we desired, who we are really. And then adding that extra layer of having children, being reborn as a mother is like, I never knew who I was. And now like that sense of I didn't know who I was is even more amplified.
Yes. and maybe prior to children, you are who everyone else wants you to be. Then you have children and it's like, hang on, that doesn't work for me anymore. I'm not comfortable with that. I want to step into my own. But there's no language around it or conscious awareness around it. It's just a frustration that has no explanation.
Yeah. And I see so many women still getting frustrated because they're not taking that time and giving them permission to find their awesome and know who they are and find their desires. And that breaks my heart a lot because you see their potential, you see their frustration, and you're like, I've been there, I can help you, or like, I hope you would just go and find help, or whatever it is. So I just love what you do to help people find their amazingness, which brings me to your mission of making money and more impact and all that, because your mission really is to help women to find that financial independence, not just their amazingness, but having that combined. Can you tell us a bit more about how and when you decided that is not just finding their amazingness, but helping them become that financial independent as well?
Well, another thing that isn't discussed when you're pregnant and having children is that you give up, when you first have children, you give up your ability to earn an income. And while men don't understand it, because they're never in the same situation, we give up our self-worth. Because when we live in a monetary world where your value is determined by the number on a paycheck or a number in your bank account, we sacrifice our ability and our power to make decisions or to choose freely, because now we are beholden to a breadwinner. And so it's not conscious, and there's nothing malicious in, the man earns and the woman stays home to raise the children. It's an unconscious surrendering of an ability to earn income. And yes, some women return to work, and then there's the whole, I'm not staying home with my kids, I'm earning money. There's that whole thing in itself. But When women are financially independent, that's when they actually get their power back to be able to make whatever decision they want to in whatever moment. For example, if you're not happy in your relationship and you want to leave, how many women stay because financially they cannot walk away? And what does that teach your children?
Mm. Yeah.
That marriage is a trap? I don't know. But this is why financial independence, earning your own money to be able to maintain the lifestyle that you're used to on your own terms, is taking your power back. It's not about the money. It's about the sense of empowerment. And for me, the more money I make, the more I make an impact on the lives of others. It's not about the money or what to do with the money. It's what it represents. It's the opportunities and the freedoms that money brings. And every woman should be able to call the shots for herself in a way that's aligned.
Yeah, I love that. Because I think we had this conversation when we met up, and I've talked about it before. It's the relationship between me and my husband is I want my husband. I don't need him. If touch wood, if shit hits the fan and we were not together the next day, I have the ability to look after me and provide for my children without him.
Yes.
Right. And that's why it's so important that women do have that financial freedom. And that's why I teach what I teach with the share trading, because we need to stop relying like on men and having this. I think we get programmed in society to, not look up, I guess look up to the man, or feel like we are the ones that need to lean on them and do all the housework and everything and not have any power. Not that you need to have that power dynamic, but you know what I mean. And yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, I think that with patriarchy, a man is the plan. So a woman is looked after by her father, and then she's looked after by the man. And yes, we have king and queen roles, right? So there are roles for women and roles for men, in that we are nurturing. It's our feminine energy. The man is the provider. Okay, he looks out for us. However, the dynamic has changed over time, where women, I won't say subservient, but women are beholden to men. The man controls the purse strings. He decides the money that's coming in. He has the greatest say in a decision. So yes, my husband and I, we make joint decisions on everything because we are a partnership. But at the end of the day, we both unconsciously know he carries a bigger proportion of the vote if he's bringing in the majority of the money.
Yeah.
And so it's challenging that belief system and that conditioning that we've been given, that you need a man in order to live a good life.
Yeah, exactly. And how many women are too scared to, spend on themselves when they feel like, oh, but my husband makes more money than me, or I'm not making money right now because I'm, on maternity leave. And there's actually, I speak to a lot of women, and there's a lot of guilt and shame about spending their husband's money when you're on maternity leave. You just freaking birthed a baby. Come on.
I've said to my husband, if I listed all that I do in a day, you actually can't afford me. You could not hire me by the hour because you couldn't afford me for what I do. And so, but we measure value in numbers. And we don't have a dollar value for what we do as moms, as homemakers, what we do on the day to day.
Yeah. I remember watching this, there's like, really soppy, sentimental videos that people make. And it was a job interview, and they're interviewing these young, probably like 20, 30-year-olds, and like, oh, we need you to be in this job. And you need to be like the assistant 24/7. You also need to be the chef, the doctor, all the things. And then at the end, the job was for being a mum. And, it's like the tears, like, mom does everything. And yeah, and we do as much as the men, most of the time are breadwinners, they go off, but we do a lot more. The mental burden that women have as well, that men don't understand. Um,
Well, we've
yeah.
moved away from village, haven't we? Now
Mm,
you have to be the martyr that does it all single
yeah.
handedly. We were never meant to raise families that way.
Yeah.
Supposed to be surrounded by community. And it's the same now with women finding their financial independence and moving in that direction. You want to surround yourself by women who are on the same mission
Yeah.
or in the same consciousness. Because if you're surrounded by others who don't think or feel the way that you do, it's very, very difficult to rise above that.
Yeah.
So community and tribe is everything.
Exactly. And I think also conversations with our men around the it's not I don't think it's called equality because like you say, men and women have different roles, but just that it's the understanding of the dynamics of the family.
Yes. And perhaps if our partners had an understanding of how we feel, it'll explain why at times you can fly off the handle if, say, for argument's sake, he said, "Oh, but you've just got your nails done. Why are you getting them done again?" For example. Now, a woman may fly off the handle and he's like, "Holy shit, what was that all about?" But it's because actually he's triggering her sense of worthlessness.
Mm,
Like there's many layers to it. It's
yeah.
not the obvious conversation. It's not the obviousness of the conversation. It's
Yeah.
what it's making her feel about herself.
Yeah. So communication is really the key in the relationship. And I know like many women, they don't know how to approach their husbands to talk about it, or they feel bad for talking to their husbands about it. I've had conversations with girlfriends about that. My husband knows exactly what I'm feeling, what I'm doing. I did a mind map recently. I'm like, look at this. This is why I'm so tired all the time. He's like, okay. He just lets me go off and on my little rant sometimes, but he understands because I've talked to him. We've been down that path of
Yes,
but it's so important for women to talk to their husbands because they don't know what you're thinking if you don't tell them, like you know
absolutely. And what's interesting too is that if you want to find out what someone's highest values are, look at what they mainly spend their money on.
mm,
Now, many moms would fork out lots of money on their kids. They're happy to buy their children whatever classes and toys and, whatever.
mm,
Most women don't invest in themselves, but they're happy and quick to spend their money on their children. They don't put themselves first. And this is part of the work that we do is self-care, self-love, filling your cup, because when mom's happy, the whole family's happy. And let's face it, when mom's not happy, the whole house knows it.
yep. For
We have
sure.
amazing power. We just need to harness it in a way that actually serves us.
Yes, in a more healthy way than flying off the handle, right?
Mm.
Which I want to ask you, we were talking about communities and being in being around like-minded people so that we can come together and create bigger impact. Um, how has that helped you with, um, I know because you were in life coaching and now you're in this online business. How has finding a like-minded tribe of people helped change your way of living and your impact and making money, all the things?
I think that growing up, I always saw women as competition. Girls compete, women empower. So I would say I predominantly had male friends, never really had females because they were too complicated. It was gossiping and bitchiness and politics, and that just took too much energy. So I preferred to hang with guys. And when we went to barbecues, I stood with the guys. I didn't really sit with the women because I just didn't want to go there. And so as I've got older, I suppose the first time I really went into community was my mother's group.
Mm.
That was my first introduction. Now, of course, there's a lot of fear there. So there's a lot of competition, unconscious, but everyone's trying to make sure their child is not the one lagging behind because somehow that's a reflection of us. Um, so Mothers Group was probably my first introduction to, wow, this is clan, this is community, this feels good. And then when I went into the coaching, I became a trainer for the college. So I've had thousands of students come through. And that was the biggest thrill for me was, oh my gosh, like-minded people on the same mission, the same journey. And that's when I realized for me, community actually lights my soul. It probably was hugely lacking from my 20s. And unconsciously, I was craving community. And so the coaching community was absolutely my next step into the power of tribe. And now with an online community, there's 6,200 of us globally. I've got friends in every corner of the world, and I'm having the most amazing conversations and seeing the aurora borealis with my Norway friends going, man, one day I'm going to see those lights. And so community makes a world of difference because you learn so much from other people, but you're all on the same wavelength. You're all in the same mission.
Mm.
And yeah, it feeds my energy as an extrovert, as a manifesting generator. Community is everything for me.
Yeah, totally agree. How have you found obviously finding your online tribe and all the people that are like-minded, has that changed your like physical friendships as well? Have they changed as you have changed?
Yes, I would say that I probably hang out with my online people more. Now, the team that I have are predominantly Perth
Mm.
because I like to be able to hug my team. And so energetically, I've attracted people that are local. Um, but but yeah, I suppose I predominantly hang out with the people that I'm working with because we've become friends. And so there's kind of not really a clear distinction anymore.
Mm.
And also the friendships are deep, fast.
Yeah.
I haven't known these people for years and years and years and years, but I'd be closer to them than people I have known for years because conversations are different, because consciousness is different. Um, so, yes, I would say that predominantly that's the direction in which I've shifted in the last 3 years.
Mm. I love that what you just mentioned because I found the same when I connect with people that are like-minded and they can be anywhere. It's just like I meet someone and it's like instant. You just have this connection. I mean, when I met you, it was like, oh yeah, we just like talk like we knew each other forever, but we had
Yeah.
like just met. And that is what I love about, you know, when you are in a higher state of consciousness, when you are in a higher vibration, you attract people that are like you. So that's where you talk about at the beginning of finding that your awesomeness, your amazingness, because once you step into that, you'll find that people that want to be like you, like want to find their amazingness, are attracted to you. And then you get all the amazing people attracted to you. And that's how you
Yes.
build that community and that tribe.
Yes, because they are awesome. They just don't know it. They are magnificent. They just don't see it. And over time, they start to see it because it was
Mm.
always there. But absolutely, our energy brings these souls together. And it's why even now on social media, I'm all about law of attraction, abiding by the universal laws, law of attraction, and magnetically attracting those of the similar frequency, and just like a magnet, repelling those who aren't. And
Mm.
that's okay.
Yeah. And yeah, and not to say that those people that we repel might not, be attracted to us later once they, have done whatever they need to do to feel
It's
connected.
timing.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you this question and then I totally lost my train of thought. But so you help people create impact and financial independence through personal, you say personal development is like the thing. Can you talk a bit more about how personal development can help you make more money?
Awesome. So, in our business, essentially, we use our personal brand on social media to attract others of a similar frequency. And then we share through automation how it is that we do what we do. Now, in order to grow and develop your personal brand, your credibility, your value, your trust, takes personal development. It takes your growth because people love seeing a journey. They love seeing where you are when you're starting and how you're growing and evolving over time. Because A, it makes you relatable. You're not on a pedestal or anything like that. It makes you relatable, but also people see your journey and desire the same for themselves. And so it's always about sharing authentically and truthfully, because then others can see what's really going on and can choose to engage to find out more or not. But timing will depend on them and how open they are to coaching or to personal development.
Yeah, for sure. For someone that's listening and going, oh, I'm interested in what Sue's doing, but I don't want to share like all my stuff on social media. Can you can you talk a bit more about how you or the business can help them feel safe or like, express it in a way that doesn't feel like they're airing their dirty laundry? Because that's what some people feel like they're doing when they talk online. Maybe not the person, but other people like, why are you talking about that? Those kind of things.
Yes. Great question, because at the end of the day, I suppose, we with our educational platform, we offer heaps of personal development tools, strategies. We post consciously. So when I, do a post on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, the intention is to serve the audience. I'm not sharing anything that doesn't have a message or value, because then, nobody wants to see anybody rant, bitch or moan or complain, because it doesn't do anything for the audience. And it's also not about dwelling on the issue. It's about teaching. What did I learn? How did I grow? Who am I now as a result? You want the solution. You want solution focused sharing rather than just the woe is me, this is the issue and the problem, and you kind of leave it there. So it's to inspire. Each post is to inspire, showing I am human. This is a thing that's happened. This is what I've learned. This is to inspire you to know that if you're experiencing something similar, there's hope. There's always hope.
Yeah. And I mean, I love your posts. They're always so powerful and
Thank you.
Yeah. I read your post and I'm like, yes, Sue, that's right. That's right.
And it's even like and I still get nervous, right? I still get nervous when I post thinking, how will this be received? So even, getting a car in the last week, it's not about posting about, look at me, I've got this car. It's how can this serve others to inspire them?
Mm-hmm.
And so the post is very consciously written because I'm also not wanting to attract or trigger anybody. I don't need to activate anyone and have them feel the need to write something negative. In the 8 years that I've been in business, I have not once had a negative comment.
Yeah.
Don't get the haters and the trolls, because I'm consciously posting and I'm not about being an antagonist for anybody, because I'm just not interested in the energy.
Exactly. And I think when you post, anything that's, supposedly bad that's happened to you and you share it as a inspirational story, it's not airing dirty laundry. I come from a culture where, you don't say anything bad to other people because, face and, you're going to look bad. But, I've I've done so much work now in the last 7 years, 7, 8 years, where you're like, I'm sharing to help others, inspire others so that they too can go, oh, wow, I didn't know Kaki or Sue or, Grace or whoever went through that. And oh, wow, no wonder, she's had all these changes. I want to be like that.
Yes. And it's interesting because when people first come into our space and are learning, it is a learned skill. When they are learning the process, of course, initially it's like family and good friends. I don't want them seeing me post this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because we have been trained to be people pleasers to ensure that we don't upset anybody. And initially there's ways in which you can get around that. Facebook's great. You can hide posts from certain people, and we got all that strategy. But the beautiful thing about personal development is that over time, as your confidence grows, you won't give a shit what anybody thinks.
Yep.
Because they don't matter.
Yes.
And so that's the real power of stepping into your power, is that you own your truth, you own your voice, because it's yours. It doesn't need to be anyone else's. But you're not concerned about the reaction of others.
Yeah. And really, you're also doing this mostly for yourself, right? Because the personal development is for you, is not for no one else is doing the work. You're the one that's doing the work.
Absolutely. And the personal development in this business is hitting post. You write up the post, it feels good, but hitting that post button is the stretch, is the growth, and is stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly. I remember the question I wanted to ask you now.
Okay. Your intuition was always going to bring it back to you.
I always do that. I'm like, I can't remember what I was going to ask, and it's come back. We were talking a bit about how women, mothers like to spend money on their children, but they won't invest on themselves. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I've always found interesting with being in business myself, is that yes, yes, we do need to discuss it with our husbands, but if you really want to do it, like, women will not stand up for themselves to go, I really want to do this. We have the finance, I'm not telling you to go get a loan and sell your house and all that, but if you have the financial capabilities to spend, a few $1,000s on something that in the long term is going to give you, more than whatever you spent. Mm-hmm. Why don't you? Do you want to talk a bit more about women investing in themselves and how important it is?
Absolutely. So we as women are probably the greatest salespeople in the world, right? If there was a handbag that you really wanted, and he said, oh my gosh, we're not spending that on a handbag. They may wear the pants, but we choose the color and the size, ladies. And if you really wanted that handbag, you know how to work your way around getting it, right? Because if you strongly desire something, you will move heaven and earth to get it. If a handbag blows your hair back. It's the same with investing in yourself. We've been taught to not trust ourselves to be able to make it work. So there's only 3 things that stop people from backing themselves. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. Will it work for me? And it's the will it work for me. Every time we allow our husbands to make the decision that we can't do something, we give our power away, because we don't trust ourselves to know that we'll get a return. And so that's where investing in yourself to change your situation. Nothing will change if you keep doing what you've always been doing. Unless you're willing to do something different, it's going to stay the same. And so investing in yourself and your intuition and gut, if it feels aligned and it feels right, the ego and the itty-bitty shitty committee in our head, it will try to talk us out of it to justify. So usually with any decision, we feel emotion, we feel intuition, and then the head comes to town and goes, hang on a second, you couldn't possibly do that. It won't work for you. You'll look like a fool if you fail. All the ego things come up. But your intuition and your gut will never, ever lead you astray. You will never make the wrong decision if you follow your gut. But we've been taught to follow our thought, our mind. But our energy actually speaks louder than the ego if we allow it to.
Mm. Yes, thank you for sharing that. And um, the handbag example is really good because what I find also is some people are like, well, I don't have the money, right? But they will go spend a few $1,000s on a handbag or a television, which is a depreciating asset. Um, but they won't spend it on something that will make them money or make their life better, make them feel better. It just blows my mind how scared we are of the unknown. We rather buy something that is becomes useless than buy something that we know. Like you say, our intuition, our emotions know will make our life better. Yeah.
So it's interesting how you buy a car for $80,000, you'll get all these fabulous comments and celebration and well done and la 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 la. If I was to post that I spent $80,000 on personal development, people would go, "What the hell is wrong with
Yeah.
the 80,000 on my personal development is going to get such a huge return on investment? It's not funny. The car depreciates the moment I drive it out of the showroom."
Yeah.
But we focus on the external, the stuff, the materialism, the accolades, the validation.
Mm-hmm.
We don't invest in ourselves. So the four laws of money are: you earn it, you save it, you spend it, you invest it. If you're not doing all four of those things, then money is not flowing constantly in your life. There's a block in that funnel,
Yeah.
because the four elements are needed. And your money should be working for you. You should not be working for your money.
Yep.
I wasn't born to work hard, so I don't. My husband always says, "God, I wish I could live your life." I'm like, I know, right? Look at me. But I made it happen. You choose to do the traditional, to do what you've been trained, to do what you've been told all your life. I choose not to, because I won't.
Yeah. And it takes a lot to deprogram ourselves from the hustle mentality.
It takes
Because,
courage.
yeah.
It takes courage
And
to back
even,
yourself.
yes, for sure. And even like for someone like you and, all your tribe that's going into an online business, before you do the personal development, you are in the hustle mentality. You're thinking like, oh, I'm in this new business. I need to hustle and do all the work and push. But
And tick the
then,
boxes and do the trainings and know that I've done them all before I start. No, just start. You'll
yeah,
learn as you go.
yeah,
It's surrendering to the programming and the training that we've had at school, then university, then get into debt with a uni degree, get into debt with a mortgage. Great. Now you're indebted to the system for life. So you get to 70, then you can retire. Oh, then you die. And that's not living, right? Because you
no,
work for more than 50% of your life. How
yeah,
many people don't love what they're doing? If it doesn't light you up and you don't bounce out of bed in the morning, ask, what am I doing with half of my life?
yeah. And what's scary is people want to rely on the government and get the pension. You're like, that is not going to give you a life.
We've been trained to be told what to do. And if we're not being told, then that uncertainty brings fear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's just so important to really bring back that sovereignty and that power back to you to really one discover who you are and then do the things that make you happy and bring in that financial freedom so that you don't need to rely on anyone, whether it's your partner, male or female, or the government or parents or whatever. You can only rely on yourself, and then you can help others along the way. That's absolutely fine. But It's so important. And, the work that you do is so important. And what, the business that you have. I mean, I'm kind of in that business, but not really in that business. Anyway,
Do you
the
know that
deal.
the main key to shifting the way you see your financial situation now and moving towards earning more, we do so much work on money mindset, how you view money, how
Mm,
you talk about money, how you think about money. Because when you work on your money mindset, you're working on you,
yeah,
because how you think about money is actually how you think about yourself. They're
exactly.
one and the same. You
Yes.
don't invest your money, it's because you don't invest in you.
Yeah. You don't think you're
You
worth
say
it.
that there's not enough money, it's because you don't think you're enough. It's very deep, it's unconscious, and it's generational, and it's taught and trained and programmed. But money mastery is the key to shifting your financial situation.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. And I teach that with share trading because a lot
Awesome.
of it has to do with, how you think about money because
Yes.
you're investing
Yes.
constantly, right? So it is so important when you master that money mindset and money energy. And that's when things start really to shift.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is just energy. It's trust. It's surrender. It's it's the energy that you give to money that allows money to flow.
Mm. And I think one of the important things is that if you do invest in something and it doesn't work, it doesn't mean that, oh, you're stupid for making the wrong decision. You learned something through that, you
So
know.
many of us focus on our ego and what people will think.
Yeah. And I've been there because I've been in an online business before where it just didn't work for me. It was work for other people. But you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's like, well, I've learned so much, all my marketing, all my personal development, and all those things. That's where where it all started from. And if I
Yes.
didn't take that first step, I wouldn't be where I am now. So it's just so
And
important.
again, those learnings can't be measured with a number, so they're not valued.
Yeah.
We
But
are so based on numbers. How many steps do you take in a day? How many calories? How many dollars? What is with the numbers, numbers, numbers?
yeah.
There's this obsession with proof and evidence.
Mm, yeah. And the thing is, the best things that happen, there is no evidence.
It's like the best things in life are free.
Yeah.
Love,
Yeah.
holiday experiences, the actual experience and the energy,
Yeah.
walking in nature, all those things. When you look at what happened in COVID, right, when we were
Mm,
all locked up, not being able to be in nature, to connect with friends, to hug
mm,
people, all those free things were actually the most valuable.
yeah.
Yet we come out of COVID and the first thing we're doing is spend, 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 buy, buy, buy.
Yeah.
We learned very little.
Yeah. Yes. COVID was you either went deep and
Mm-hmm.
you changed your way of being, or it was like buy into the fear and continue what we're doing, like
And it was a
as
choice.
before. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
I think the valuable lesson too for those that figured they were aware of what was going on was also to surrender that it wasn't our responsibility to force that on anyone else.
yeah,
Everyone's journey needed to be their own, and it needed to come down to choice.
yeah, exactly. And that's with everything in life. But that just
Absolutely.
forced us to go, do you make the choice for yourself or do you let other people make the choice for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. I'm just looking at, I'm just looking at the time, but I've just so enjoyed our conversation. So
Thank you
many
so
gold
much.
nuggets in
Awesome.
there, like so much wisdom. Thank you for, sharing all your wisdom with us. And I know I can talk to you for a lot longer, but
And thank you for your powerful questions, because the quality of your life depends on the quality of your questions.
Mm, thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, my podcasting has changed a lot. It used to be very structured, and now it's just like, oh yeah, I just need to ask that. It's just whatever comes
Awesome.
through, trusting the
Beautiful.
intuition, like you say. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, very important.
Well done. That was brilliant. You do a great job. Kudos to you.
Thank you, Sue. Before we wrap up, I've got one last question for you, and that is, what is setting your soul on fire at the moment?
I think that these times are very exciting. There's a lot of uncertainty, but that's kind of stimulating in itself. The energy is huge. The ascension is absolutely occurring.
Mm,
Awareness is growing. Awakening is growing. We chose to be here during these times, whether we believe it or not, but we are here because we're meant to be. And this is probably the most exciting time in history. And so it thrills me because our online space is absolutely going gangbusters as more and more people have reassessed and gone, I'm not doing 9 to 5. And if I do, I'm definitely not doing 5 days a week. So I
mm,
know for my husband, he battles to find staff full time. He now has to look at 2 part-timers because people are not interested in full-time work. And the online space, people are all looking at creating an additional income, especially during recession. Recession is the time where millionaires are made,
hmm.
seeking opportunities and being open to change.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I'm just so grateful for our conversation today. If people want to find out more about you, what you do, your online business, where is the best place to find you?
So essentially all the socials, just Sue Raffan, RAFF for Fred, AN for Nelly. I used to be West. It was so simple. Now I'm got to say that whole song. So Sue Raffan, Sue Raffan. Yeah, you can easily find me on socials. Thank you.
Perfect. I will have your details in the show notes so people can reach out to you. Thank you so much once again, Sue.
Thank you. Been an honor.